Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Natalie, is Calgary perfect?
Absolutely not.
No, it is not perfect. It's an amazing city, but there are some things you need to know before moving to Calgary. So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about all of it, so stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mark Newstater with eXp Realty. This is my wife, Natalie Newstater, also with eXp Realty. We have an amazing team here in Calgary, here to help you make the best decision on whether you should be moving to our amazing city. But there are some things that I would call maybe negatives or things that people need to know before moving here. So we're gonna go through our list and comment down below. Do you have some questions about Calgary? Do you live here now? What are some of your favorite things about the city? We'd love to see them in the comments section. So the first thing we need to talk about, it's not even an elephant in the room, it's like so big here, is the weather in Calgary. Now, you may be seeing it on the news. We got some crazy weather. We got snow in July and 15 degrees in January. So Natalie, give us your take. So here as a footnote, Natalie, you grew up here in Calgary, so you have a pretty good idea of the weather.
Yeah. We get some crazy weather here. It really depends on the year. There are years that you can go walking on Christmas Day and it's plus 10, beautiful, and you'll see people in shorts. There are Christmases where it's minus 30 with a wind chill of minus 45 and you're not going anywhere. The biggest thing we have is that we don't get prolonged lapses of minus 30. We will get cold and we will get snow, but we also have this funny little thing called a Chinook wind, which is an indigenous term, and it's winds that come down over the Rocky Mountains and it brings warm air into the foothills. Now the kicker with that is that you can have days where it's minus 20 and within an hour it's plus 10. So it does cause some crazy shifts and people are like, what is actually happening here? But it's normal here and it's been happening for thousands of years.
Yeah, and along the note of that major weather change, there is a thing called the Chinook headache. I will sometimes get a bit of a flu-like symptom. I'm like, oh, is the weather changing? Oh, yeah, there we go. So that's it. So that's the winter weather. In summer, and I think our average summer temperature is around 22 or 23. When I have friends coming up here from the United States, I say it's like you have air conditioning all day. But you know, we have definitely some warmer days. We had a couple of years ago where we had that heat dome. That was a bit of a rare occurrence in the mid to high 30s. But our average temperatures in summer are really very comfortable.
Yes.
You know, if you get a 24, 25, that feels warmer. The nice thing about Calgary in summer is it does cool off at night. So what that means is the need for central air conditioning is much lower than my family in Manitoba, who all have central AC. If you're in Toronto, BC, maybe not so much, but summers are beautiful here. But along with summer, we're going to jump ahead on the list to hail. So with this crazy weather we get in summer, we get some wicked hailstorms. So I think we're actually the hail capital of Canada because of these crazy hailstorms that we get. Now, it's after a very hot day, right? So you get your thunderstorm. It's just that our storms here tend to produce hail. And so you just have to be wary of that. You know, insurance companies are pretty prepared. Some of them even have like hail centers in Calgary. So it's just something that happens. If you're buying a house in Calgary, get a garage, so at least you can park your cars in the garage when we have our hailstorms.
And the funny thing with the hailstorms here is that, as Mark had let me know, the insurance companies all got together many years ago because of all the damage that it was causing. So they actually seed the hail clouds here. So it actually makes the hailstones smaller. So you're not getting the big, you know, baseball sized ones. And that really does help mitigate a lot of the damage. Now, that being said, you will notice all the car dealerships around the city, after many years of losing lots of cars due to hail damage, they have these giant tents now that cover all their vehicles, and it just saves them millions, I'm sure, on insurance claims.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. All right, so next up with summer comes bugs. Now, I am from Manitoba, where I believe the provincial bird is the mosquito.
There's a lot of them.
Just kidding, Manitoba. But comment below if you're from there. I'm from there too. So we have bugs here for sure. We have wasps and bees and mosquitoes and horseflies and things like that. In Calgary, when you're in the city, you'll have kind of a bit of a stretch between mid to late June where you're going to have some mosquitoes because it's after our rainy season. I find though, once we hit July, August, the bugs are really not a huge issue.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, except wasps.
Oh, wasps. Oof. hate them. They're mean little suckers. The one thing you have to just be aware, it's like anywhere else with the wasp, they're drawn to sweet things. So if you have drinks outside or food, that kind of thing, they will come down and just take a chomp out of your steak. That's just the way they roll.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so next up on our list is allergies and or dust. So I am an allergy sufferer. I will say it is not great here because it's drier. I'm not sure what it is. I remember a couple of years ago, we kind of went from spring to summer all in one day where it was like 0 and then plus 25. And the pollen literally exploded out of the trees. We had layers of pollen on our vehicles and things like that. Just something I wouldn't say don't move to Calgary because we have allergies here and it tends to be more of a high pollen area. But for me, I just know that I need to buy my, my yearly supply of Reactin, not maybe yearly, but whatever the over-the-counter medication of choice is for you. All right, next up, we have deregulated utilities in Alberta. So if you're moving from Ontario, Manitoba, Autopack, that's the name of the one in Manitoba. So if you have Autopack, ICBC, I don't know the name of it in Ontario, all of our utilities or home and auto insurance is deregulated here. So first on the utility side, typically your actual municipality, so if you're in Calgary, they handle your water and sewer. But after that, your electricity and your natural gas is for you to choose the utility company that works best for you. There's so many to choose from, and there's a lot of great options out there that can save you some money. So depending on what you're paying in those provinces, you may be saving some money by coming to Calgary.
Absolutely.
On the home and auto insurance side, so we've used people like the Cooperators in the past. Currently, we're with Intact through a brokerage. There's State Farm, there's Allstate, there's all these different insurance companies that you can choose from for your home, for your auto. So it's a really nice thing because I think I've heard, again, put a comment below if you've moved from BC or Ontario. Is it less expensive in Alberta? I'd be curious to know. All right, next on our list is Calgary is big. It's big.
Big.
So I did some searching here, and back in the year 2000, we were at around 1 million people, 1,000,001. We are now over 1.6 million people in the Calgary metro area. So that includes towns like Cochrane, Chestermere, Airdrie, Okotoks as well. So we're a really big city. And what does that mean for people if they're moving here?
Well, it just means that if you're moving to Calgary, fundamentally you need to have a vehicle, at least one vehicle. I mean, it does depend on where you live. If you work downtown and you live in one of the inner city areas, you can typically take a C train, which is our light rail train system here. You can take a C train downtown, that kind of thing. But a lot of people live in a lot of the outlying areas. So if you're going to use the C train system, you would typically have to either take a bus or drive to that train station. So it's something to be aware of. And we are geographically, landmass is the same size as Manhattan and all the boroughs.
That's
which
crazy.
is bananas.
Yeah.
So it's just something people don't actually realize how big the city is. So it's almost a necessity to have a car.
Yeah.
Plus you can go to the mountains.
Yeah, and think about, are you getting moved here by your job? So
Yeah.
we have clients that are moving here from BC, they're working downtown. So we always talk to them, it's like, hey, we're interested in Cochrane. And I told them actually, typically you're 40 minutes into downtown on a good day with no traffic from Cochrane. That was too far for them. So they're considering more just staying within inside the Calgary city limit. So Calgary is big, and along with that comes traffic. So this is all relative. If you are moving from GTA, Toronto, that whole area, our traffic may not seem very bad. BC, I know Vancouver metro area, the traffic can be horrible as well. But if you're moving from Manitoba, Saskatchewan, maybe even other parts, small town Alberta, certainly you are going to notice the traffic. The traffic to me is worst in the winter when we have a winter storm.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we do get snarled. Like our main thoroughfare for many years going north to south was Deerfoot Trail, which is Highway 2. And then east to west is 16th Avenue, which is technically the Trans-Canada. Both get very congested, they're very busy, but now we have this beautiful new ring road called Stony Trail. The last span of it on the west side there should be finished probably within the next year, and that has alleviated a lot of traffic headaches. Whereas typically from where we live in the city, if we wanted to get out to the mountains, it would take you 20, 25, 30 minutes just to get out of the city. just to get out towards the highway. That's not even on the highway. So now with the ring road, we are boop, 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 we're out. It's like 8 minutes. It's made a huge difference. And I think it's really helped a lot of people say, okay, I can live in this more outlying area because there's an easier way to get into those core areas.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, a couple more on our list here, and I'm sorry, but if you don't like being said hello to when you're going for a walk in the morning, maybe Calgary isn't the right city for you. We are an Uber friendly city, right?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I was walking in Vancouver with a friend of mine a couple of years ago, and we were going down through Stanley Park, and I was saying good morning to people, and they were looking at me like I was a three-eyed monster or I was going to rob them or something. And I'm like, well, this is not normal. In Calgary, people tend to be very friendly. They say hello, they smile at each other, and it really does it gives you a small town feel in a big city, which is a thing that a lot of people love. They come here and they're like, man, I've never experienced something like this. So it's a big bonus.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with the friendliness, this kind of dovetails into that is we're a very volunteer-oriented city. I think it's been going on for years with the Calgary Stampede. I'm almost 10 years now as a Calgary Stampede volunteer. I mean, I think there's around 3,000 volunteers every year with the Calgary Stampede. Maybe I'm a little high on that number. Calgary Stampede, the Folk Festival in summer, all the neighborhood things that are going on. But let's talk a little bit about what summer is like from a perspective of all the things you could be doing in the city. And I think, we have so many festivals, obviously starting with the Stampede, the Folk Fest, we have Country Thunder. We've got all the different, food festivals, things like that. So whether you want to volunteer and get to know people that way, if you want to just do things with your family, there's the Lilac Festival on 4th Street, which is an epic, kind of a weekend festival.
It's very fun.
Yeah, it's very fun. Tons of food vendors, things like that. So there's always lots to do in Calgary, including our final point, which is the mountains. And that is a massive benefit of living in Calgary. And I think it's what draws a lot of people here. If
Absolutely.
You're an outdoor enthusiast, if you just like doing sightseeing, maybe you're a photographer. I mean, there isn't a better backdrop than the Rocky Mountains in Canada, in my opinion, for photography. But let's get a little bit more into the mountains. So we've got a few different options for people. So you want to do a quick day trip, you might want to head out to Bragg Creek, which is kind of at the beginning of the Kananaskis area. That's a cute little town about 15-20 minutes west of the western edge of Calgary. And then talk about Canmore and Banff a little bit.
Well, Canmore it's directly west of the city as well. It's right in the heart of the mountains. Canmore is sort of your first town going into the gateway into the mountains. So Canmore is about less than an hour, I would say, from the city.
Depends who's driving.
Depends on who's driving. With me, it's a little faster.
Yeah.
Banff is another 20 minutes west of there, and Lake Louise would be another 45 minutes west of there. So there's just an abundance of things to do winter and summer. We've got multiple ski hills within an hour drive of the city, including our own COP, or wind sport, I should say, is what it is now.
City.
In the city, which was big in the Olympics. And
a great place for people to learn how to ski.
Absolutely, absolutely. You've got that. You've got Nakiska, which is in Kananaskis country, so that's about a 40-minute drive from the city, and it's a great little hill. Then you get into Banff, and you've got Sunshine, Norquay. You can go to Lake Louise, and then you can carry on from there. Hiking and biking in the summertime is spectacular. The camping is unreal here.
Yes.
And you just see people with their mouths open when they see the mountains here for the first time. It's big.
It does. Every time I'm in Banff, I look back at Norquay.
Yes.
It almost looks fake. Like you've got a backdrop there, but it's very real.
It does look fake, but it's beautiful. It's stunning. So that's a big part of why people come to this city, is just the access. Plus, the other thing to remember is that because Calgary is a big city, we have an international airport with multiple direct flight options all around the world, which is a huge thing. So you're not necessarily having to fly through Vancouver or Toronto to go places. We are a hub here, so it does help a lot of things. And how long is the drive to Montana from here? 2-3 hours?
Yeah, if you want to go down south of the border, about a 2-3 hour drive. I think closer to 3. And there's lots of options down there as well, and also into the interior of BC. But this video is about Calgary.
It's Calgary.
Yes,
You gotta come.
that's right.
We want to see you.
And on that note, with the international airport, you can fly to Dublin, Ireland direct. I believe you can fly to London, Gatwick direct, Orlando, Vegas, Frankfurt,
Yeah.
Los Angeles, New York City, Chicago. All those areas are flown direct from Calgary. So you're not missing out. Your flight might just be a little bit longer than if you're flying to Toronto to the East Coast, but the West Coast, you know, you're going to be about the same time, a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
So tons of options, great, you know, sun destinations in winter too. So props to YYC because it's a great airport and we love flying out of there. So that's it. That's the video. And so we'd love to see your comments down below. Are you thinking of moving to Calgary and have questions? Put them down below. We will do our best to answer them very, very quickly for you. Do you live in Calgary? Have we kind of hit the list okay? Or is there something we're missing? But as always, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content like this about our amazing city, please subscribe and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.